Welcome back to the quest for details. I was intending to head out, quest for some treasure. This just blew over the mountain ridge. It was like that, and I was like, okay, high clouds. And then, whoa! Okay, we got raindrops on the windshield. So, we are not going to go there. We're going to go somewhere else where we can get in and out of the truck, be closer to it to take shelter in between sprinkling showers, and hope that, well, either way, we need the rain. If I get shut out from the rain, that's okay. Film this barn home site. I won't film their house. I think they actually live there on the left. It's a really cool house. But yeah, look at the details. Stacked stone. This isn't the cool part though. This is just the barn. Probably had big Swiss art on the front there. You can see the round spot. Cool barn, but look behind it. Now, everybody, as we've always driven by, called this a barn, but I was looking at it. That's the barn. Look at the arches in there. Now, this is made out of the tufa is how I know it. Tough. You know, it's white, volcanic, compacted ash. And it cuts really easily, but you can see these are chiseled, each single piece. Look at the work on that. Just castle-like. You can see it was taller. You can see the slope of the roof going up. And chimneys, smokestacks coming out of it. Big old arch doorways. Very beautiful, you know. Way more ornate than just for a barn. And yeah, look inside. Just cool. So who knows what it was. I'm not going to show you the house, although the house matches, and it's like it's beautiful, you know. Look at the size of the stacks coming out of there though. They were doing something. I don't see a date on the house, but, and then look down below. Look at the walls, literally made like plastered, cobbled. You can see they were completely covered. I don't know, I've always glanced at it and gone, wow. But it's, when you really slow down and take a look, it's impressive. Okay, I feel like oh, you see that? The lower levels of it went down the bank, so that was like a two-leveled something from a long time ago. Wow, I'd love to know. There's hundreds of those structures here in the Napa Valley, and everybody's focused on, you know, they've been growing grapes for, a total of 50 years in the valley. Before that was orchards and hay and stuff. Everybody thinks of Napa as the grapes that are down in the bottom, and there's all of the old history. You know, we're the first county in California. We were actually ready to become a county before it was ready to become a state. And we're directly across the bay from San Francisco, so as the population flooded east to find gold in the gold fields, this was the shores they showed up on. It just almost doesn't match, you know, the focus now is on grapes, that's all I'm going to say. So, I like looking at the pre-grape era. There's a trail we could hike down and look. Now we're getting into the public area, so. Now look at that. That's where a hiking trail starts. But look at the row of cypress. That's an old driveway. Backside of these lakes, and as things changed, as California got the tractor technology back from World War II, turned their tanks into tractors and started changing everything, along with the roads that went in the country and the heavy agriculture. We also out here did the dams. We built dams and lakes originally, and now the state is full of reservoirs and lakes, but they're all man-made. We're looking for those spots that were flat spots that were important on the way spots. when you could drive through. And now, because it's boat craft, things have changed because highways were built and everybody in the population went other places. Things have changed. So we're looking for those left behind forgotten areas. If something just tickles the wanderlust about that, doesn't it? Okay, we'll see you out there. Okay, we got an 81. There's our first signal. We'll pop it out of the ground. Swing the detector back over it. It's in that clump there. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it's pretty cold is what it is. It's small. Maybe too small. Let's get the shovel out of here. Nope, it's a coin. Yeah. So let's check the date on that. $1979. I thought this one was deeper than it was. Turns out it's just farther over. I think I see it sticking out, so I'm glad you didn't have to spend long digging that with me. Next. This was putting out a really high signal. Don't know what it is. What are you? It's a murder weapon. Awesome. Okay. We love those. It's a razor knife. That's pretty cool. Try a bicolored rock. Look at that. Not bad. I know the water, the color's a little washed out because the sky is. But you can tell that's nice. Here we are. There's a big old cypress in a row. And the road that leads off through the Scotch broom now, which is a riparian plant, through some chamise, same, and then off into what's now a lake, so that probably would have been hay fields and stuff like that. You can see, I think you can see this flat spot comes right around here. It's got leaves on it, so it's hiding it, but there's a little bit of a bank here. And it looks like a well-worn uphill and out. I see a flat spot here. The road is actually beyond the thick trees, beyond that, the modern road. But let's walk up here real quick. And that's where this kind of rut that we're in is going. We're not going to follow its sweep. We're going to cut across. And yeah, this is a bigger, flatter area than you need for a road. So probably another little building. Carriage house, you know. This might have been where the old main road came across, and it doesn't anymore. So this actually could have been a bigger lane. Let's go down here. And you see it running up to where the modern road is, but these are big trees. Here's one down here. It says check the roots and see. So we will. We're looking for just a single anything to let us know. Right in here. Maybe right in here near the top. Okay. Well, there was humans around, and they were using containers that still had embossing on them. Could have been an old Gatorade container. But that's what we know so far. And then there's this. Look at the flat spot beyond the trees. What do we see here? Probably a lot of campfires out here in the 60s and 70s. Other metal detectorists might not have been to this flat spot. And it's fairly large. And look. You see this? This is a food tree. Otherwise known as olive, brought by humans a long time ago. Look at her base. Been through fires and recovered. They look like this at the base because they were pruned. So all the little shoots were cut off for a period of time. And now the main trunks have gone crazy and have been unpruned for a long while. But that's an olive. At the end of a row of cypress. And a big flat spot. Really good. Really good. That's basically what I see so far. Here's the creek that is one of the tributaries that fills the lake now. Oh, who else do we see? Vinca. So downhill bank to the creek, we have Vinca planted, which has always been smart. So people that knew it would get away from you, but if it goes downhill and holds the bank, that's okay. These are actually a native, but it's cool to see them. These are a dog rose, and those are very edible hips. Those can cure the Black Plague, literally. So, and look at them holding in the middle of December. You guys know ragweed, all over the country. There's a thick patch, just tall because it's in the water. Burrs. And now literally it's low season, but this fills up. But they would have lived by the creek. So this bank, look at our olive tree. That's a good omen. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to stand in silence for a little while. Which I'll regret later when the rain comes. And get a little feel for the place. Let it sing in and sing back a little bit. These big rocks at the edge and bare dirt. There could be a treasure hoard out here. Could be all kinds of things out here. And that. It's pretty smooth bottom, but it's not round. But you know what I'm stepping in. Also by the edge of the creek. And these berries weren't here, so the area was actually bigger. Little baby olive trees. That's awesome. See them? They grow thin until they get up through. They're actually everywhere here. Yeah. Good thing. Good thing. So before we can ground balance, the rain begins. This old of an olive tree also, mixed with the cypress that are that tall. Could be Spanish, you know. They're the older sites. They're the ones that were here building the ranches even before the gold rush and stuff. And olive trees usually accompany their sites. Okay, let's detect until it starts going heavy. Pop top. Got my Sony Handycam is what I use. So it's not waterproof or dustproof, but if you manage it okay. Just come from an era when you didn't have that option, so I guess that's why I can work with it a little bit better. I find the GoPros, you can't focus with them. And these little handy cams have all the features that they've ever had, but they fit in the palm of your hand. and they give you just the high resolution and stuff. So, but you gotta deal with the weather. We are under the olive tree, and I had a high, super good signal, and it's not a gold coin. Okay, it's an old metal cap. Sprawling toyon that has to grow from underneath the olive tree. Look, it's turning Christmas colors for us. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? You'd be afraid to color a leaf picture in with those colors because it wouldn't look real. People would say, ah, it doesn't look like a real leaf. Super fun. Like a little bent piece of copper. Still under the shelter of the olive tree. And we are in square nails. Also, not gold. Older shotgun shell, copper and paper. Show you in the cleanup what that one is. But that's to be expected by the water, I think. Look at that. It's a brick. It's an older brick. Okay, we'll put that back in the ground. But that tells us more. It's real compacted ground too. But see the garbage can. So this is like a picnic table site. Lots of garbage. That is a really broken up flat brick. Now I almost think I see a little dent. I won't call it a cellar or something, I'll call it a California home dent. More like what we get out here. If anything, a pile of rocks here and there where they propped it up, you know. But bricks, that's a permanent good thing. So I should have filmed that, but I didn't. This is actually hanging on this one little branch here above us, and I wasn't paying attention. So I stood back. You see where it snapped off up here at some point. The leaves are all brown, so it's been sitting dead. But all I had to do, I mean, we've been underneath it, all I had to do is I just grabbed the tip of the branch here and tugged on it, and the whole thing slid off and went boom down on the ground. The reason why I did that is because of the garbage can and stuff. People actually hang out here or anything. I actually dropped it on our site, but it's not hanging over our heads now, or anybody else's head. Because that was literally like about 7 pounds of force. It could have been like somebody standing under there in the breeze or whatever, you know. Whatever, it's down now. Kerthump. Also, slowing down and getting a feeling for the site. See this big dead tree here? It looks kind of like an old fruit tree. It could be a walnut, but I see life up here. Just leafless life in the twigs. They look kind of green and just way too long and strong, so they're probably deciduous. And I don't see any fruit under it, but I do see big flat leaves. You see them there? They're not necessarily native here. So it looks, if I had to guess, this might be another crazy Osage orange. Let's see, here's the actual branches coming out to us. Are you still alive? Not really, but that's kind of how these things are. Anyhow, the point was, there's an old gnarly beast, and it's got lines in the base of it from a fence that's no longer there. And this tree I don't think was here. This little sprawly oak, it just doesn't look old enough. But if you look in the background, next to it, there's another one of those. Burly. I'm gonna guess it's an Osage orange, just because that's like the time frame. And if you look here, here's the row of cypress coming in front. So if you square up to that, you end up with the oranges on either side and the cypress in front and the big open area, and then you realize that everything else except for the olive and this big oak on the back corners is relatively new, you know. So, and the hard packed ground here, this is the square of a place. Now this, I just pulled out of the ground. You can see it's old, it's lead, but it's got the white crust that builds up on there. Now I can't remember if this is a hem weight from a dress or an old sinker. So I will look it up, but like, we're next to a lake. Does this mean more garbage, or does this mean slow down and stick around? So we're gonna go with the later, and we'll see what else we find. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. There it is, all cleared out. There's the bottom. It's not a perfect circle, but may have been dug out that way for water to go. I mean, we're close to a creek right here that would have been here. Big boulders leading down to it. They all kind of look like that. Those are the size of the holes in them usually. And this, for some reason, has a very concave, smooth little grinding bowl in it. So, I call that a grinding stone. Getting a lot of these. It's these older copper paper shotgun shells. We're at the base of this big old oak tree over by the grinding bowl. Like there's glass that's embedded in the tree. I can't even get that out of there really. So the tree has definitely grown over it. It's sticking out of there was this leather that's just almost not leather anymore. Oh, I see sewing marks on there. Okay, so that was from a machine. They have had machines for a while. Could have been a piece of horse stuff. But I had a signal over here. Wooden handle. It almost sounds hollow. Okay, it's probably a can. These are all baby olives here. Trying to be a little careful. Oh. It's a gold ring off a beer bottle. Okay. I think I broke that. Putting out a solid 67 on my Garrett AT Pro. You recognize what it is? That is the, I believe it's zinc little plate. Here's the little porcelain lid. Who's our maker? Do we have a maker? We all have a maker. Huh. Well, we'll clean that up a little bit better. I'm sure the rest of it's here. Gotta be careful. But that's an old canning jar lid. So, maybe there's a bottle dump here. That would make sense. Kind of wandering out towards the creek to see what it looks like. And we're in the Vinca. We found gold coins in Vinca. Finally. I don't even care. You know? We take whatever. It's a quarter. It's US. It's copper in the middle. It's from 1987. And there's another high signal down the hole. You know? I'll take it. I got a bag full of garbage. So. This one doesn't sound, this one isn't an 86. It's saying 79. It's saying it might be right there. So. Dicting penny. Modern. Zinc. 90s. Well, I thought it was a ring. It's not, but it's something. Hunting up this row of cypress here. Looking for signals that aren't garbage, which you can't tell, so you should dig everything. There's a lot of built up dirt here. Pop top numbers. But go ahead and dig it. There's a lot of signals out here. Imagine a lot of them are pop tops. Take a larger bite. A lot of those. Divot, and it was 81, so figure I'd stop, even though we've had a lot of bottle tops, and do another continuous dig. Oh. Well, oh, there it is. What do we got? Got Lincoln. Wheat. We have a Lincoln wheat penny. Yes. 1946. Ah. Yay. I don't even think the dam was built yet. Awesome. Okay. Slow down. Comb the road. Okay. We got an 81, 82 right here. Excuse the background noise. We're out of the hole. And it wasn't a big aluminum can. So, once again, we're happy about that. There it is. Looking like a penny. 78 Memorial. 74. 74. Here's our next. I clear the leaves away to get a better swipe. I hear it, and I kick the leaves with my feet. If it sounds even better, then I dig. See where it's at. I believe it's out. We have several noises here. I know you can't hear that necessarily, but you can hear that. Upper noise. Get rid of that. Whatever it is. It keeps messing with me. Of course, now we'll be chasing two things through the world. That's why that's messing with me. That might be our signal there. So let me recheck the whole deal here. I'll leave you on so you can see how crazy it is for everybody. Let's get the pinpointer out of there. Turn it off. Switch to the left hand. For you left-handed people, I have empathy. I wish they made left-handed cameras. They do not. They're evil. That was our signal, and that's why it sounded like two different things. Sad. Okay. Lesson learned. That's where we were hunting originally, is on the other side of the tree. I haven't done this, and now we're just coming up the road. I'm doing one half, and then we'll do the other half. Wow, it's like a construction zone out here in the middle of the woods. This. Oh, just a memorial, but it's making a great sound. As close as I can figure it, we're in the front yard. Yeah, we got a 61. Where are your dimes and quarters? We are literally in the low spot in the front yard. Super compacted. Little chirps coming out of the ground everywhere. Definitely square nails. Definitely down in the compacted layer. Definitely has a pretty fresh fall cypress tree straight across it. Yeah, I'd say it's garden the booty. And 4 hours later, also not a gold coin. That's what I saw first. Say 1974. Okay. Not brand new. That's why I was down about 6 inches. Well, worked my way back around. Here's this little dimple mark it made. And I don't know what that is. It's not balanced for sure. Oh, it's got words on it. Maybe we got a button or something. Let me clean it off. Okay. There it is. That's the edge I saw. So I thought we had a coin. It says patent April 4th, 1887. It's got a star. It says Vulcan. I don't know what else. We'll have to look that up. Pretty cool little thing though. It's misshapen a little bit. See how it's punched kind of crooked, or maybe that's how they do it? I don't know. Maybe it's a button, which would be really cool. Either way. Well, it's late in the afternoon on a rainy day, and the sun keeps peeping through here and there. I got a really great 86 signal, and I dug down to this and I went, oh no, I thought it was plastic. It's not. It's like I don't know what would have been that skinny around. It was this type of wear, but signal's under it in theory. So I'll keep you on. We will figure out what it is. Now I'm excited again. Let's see what the numbers are. God, solid 89. I would so love to see some silver come out of the ground. Go wide, deep. Give the whole thing a pop. Oh, is this what it was? It is what it was. Holy moly. You know what that is? I think that's a lead bar. Wow. I think that's exactly what that is. It is so heavy it's got to be lead. Look at that. Rounded. Literally chopped off at either end. Unless it's solid silver. Here's the test. We got lead. But, in a way, that's a relic. That's probably off the old house site that's here. And they used it for everything back then. So, yeah. It's pretty cool. Came up right with it. Let's say we're in a good little spot. Of course. Getting late. Just popped this out of the hole. It's going brain dead with digging garbage. I just said to myself, I'm out of here. And it was ringing really high. I don't know how old that is. I'm finding it really close to these other items. Looks like it might have been clad in silver. And let's let silver shine into. I'll be right back. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it's older. Looks like it had some silver clad to it, and the copper is actually green. It's right by these older things. So I'm literally working in a little 5-foot area, super compacted, mossy soil. I believe was like the lip of the old house site. So we got a buckle. Worn for a while too. Look where the swinger was. Nice. I drug the branch sideways. I'm underneath it. And got another signal. Okay, it's a Lincoln. It was a screaming Lincoln. Ooh, hang on. Camera. Now, if you give them no background but what you're focusing on, 1941, we got another weedy. Yay, and it's in great shape. So we'll just stop there. Okay. God. 41. Awesome. Well, there you go. It's pouring down rain out there. Our mission is concluded for the moment. The Garrett's sitting here. I'm wet and dripping. My gear is wet and dripping. And the Garrett's like, what? You want to go swimming? It's not raining under the surface. So, sometimes you feel silly having an AT in the middle of a big old sunny park. Other times you're really happy. Well, I keyed into something else. Watching all my East Coast friends on their channels doing all their digging out there, and all of Vermont and New Hampshire and all these different places where everyone was packing in and deforesting stuff and building rock walls everywhere. And now they're out there in what's the forest again, because westward expansion occurred and the gold rushes all throughout the western United States, and so the land really emptied out and went west and there was more room. So the forests have regrown in stages now. I'm out here out west, and what we get is our earliest properties all are lined in these crazy stone walls. And why the rock walls seem crazy to me and to us out here in the west, you know, we look back and we go, God, look at them, because they're only hip high, and just the amount of work to crisscross the land. And they really bit off some, you know, they were trying to put rock walls around 100-acre, 200, 300-acre ranches out here, which they succeeded, you know. So if you look at the eastern states, they're smaller and they're divided up a whole bunch because there was a higher population. As you get out west, even the shape of the states is indicative of how much space everybody had. So to accommodate for that, to try and control and own and possess, they came up with barbed wire really early on, about the same time that the westward expansion is happening. So the rock walls are really in our oldest areas out here, and as they are on the East Coast, but what I'm saying is they're in this short window of time. So you have all of the rock wall builders, and that's kind of the really cool thing, is you can watch the people that I watch on the East Coast, and you see how much rock work is done. And with, you know, you can see one rock wall from the other rock wall. These out here are huge, and they just run out over the vast expanse, and half the time they stop. Like by that time they'd come up with barbed wire, and people were going, wow, okay, so we've been out here for 7 years. I've had everybody building rock walls. I'm just gonna go with barbed wire. From then on they run barbed wire, and this whole place, they can grab massive areas. That's how they took, you know, the great prairies of America and divided them up and held them, was with barbed wire. That was the end of open range and being able to drive your cows from Texas to Montana across unbroken land. You know, someone could go out and string up 1,000 acres and go, this is my ranch. So really it's there, and you can see basically the people that were alive, the same generation, coming over here directly from the east, showing up with their wagons, unpacking, building the rock walls, and then just as quickly breaking off and then developing the rest of the west with all the barbed wire and the fencing and stuff. So they end up being these ancient looking things like they are on the East Coast, but they're almost out of place. You find them just way out in the hills, just kind of running this way and that. You can tell, oh, this was one of the very first people who showed up in the 1850s and the early 1800s, and they were still on the rock wall concept. So it's a real date line, and it's real sharp out here. And if you look at how small the population was and how quickly it grew, you can see the property development. You can see them, you know, getting megalomaniac on us and grabbing bigger and bigger areas and abandoning the rock work. You can probably trace those rock walls all the way back across the Atlantic. There's not that many of them down in the valleys. They tend to be up on the mountainsides where it's all rocky. What that is the easy land in the valleys fills up. The people who are willing to work at it and peck at it set to work on the hillsides and the mountainsides, eking out their living. So you could probably trace those walls back to the highlands of the world. The areas that were less easy to survive and thrive in, but technique was developed, and they carried it all the way from those shores to these shores. Here's an example. You see this trace of rocks? That's where they stopped. They'd rolled the big ones down. Now this hill didn't run out, they stopped. See the barbed wire behind it? Here's where the work stopped. There's where it had gone, and gone, and gone. And these can run for 20 miles. They'll trace the old roads. It's also a way to figure out which old roads are the oldest in California, because they have this along them. Look at that. And these are at the top of all of the mountain roads that lead up out of the valleys all over the Bay Area. I was told it was a lot of indigenous forced labor and Chinese. But you can imagine a lot of the littler ones were actually done by the farmers and the ranchers themselves also. Because it was what they had been doing since they had come across. Here it is. Pizzles out here. I don't think those rocks were borrowed. You see the big ones laid down. They just didn't get any farther. There's a row of big ones sticking out of the grass, but some of them are complete. A lot of them look like that though. Really exciting new site. You can see the amount of trash targets we got. But look at them up close. These are mostly older pop tops, you know, so that's really exciting. I mean, it's covered. Another metal detectorist has never been there looking for gold. There's about 1 billion of these though, so holy moly. And yeah, so we just tore through it. Bronze with aluminum circle, maybe something off a boat. Our piece of leather that was stuck in the bottom of the tree. Big chunk of lead. That's a solid bar of lead. Can you imagine what the original piece looked like? This piece of crockery, but look at the curvature on it. It's pretty skinny. Here's our bullets. So we got what? Remington Express, Western Super X, a nitro, Winchester repeater. Here's our modern coins that we got. 1987 quarter, 25-cent piece. 1974 10-cent piece dime. Here's 79, 74, 61, 68 pennies, copper. Also 1-cent pennies, but modern and zinc. The total. This little trowel blade, shovel blade, it sure is flat and thin, but was down there a good ways too. So, canning jars, sinker, valve knob, square nails. This was from a small area here. This is, looks like a key ignition from a car maybe. Some lock maybe off a treasure chest. And yeah, this is our older stuff that all came from a smaller little area, what I'd call the lip of the little house site. These were in the front yard, and one of them in the road. So we got a 1946 wheat penny and a 1941 wheat penny. Those are in great condition for coming out of the dirt. And this, which is a 2-piece, that pops out of there. I want to say lantern part, but can't be sure, so let me know. It's copper. I recognize it, that's why I want to say lantern. I know what this is. It's been held up in front of me on a TV screen many times, but like this, I knew what that was. This is a hem weight. So this is probably one of my most exciting things because it's local, close to my home, you know, within 20 or 30 miles. It's local history, and this is what weighted down the layers of cloth so that they weren't all sticking to each other and doing the static cling. This was the anti-static of the day for when you had several layers of slips and then the outer dress on there. So that's really cool. That's going to be one of my favorite possessions that I have found. Yeah, pretty awesome. Also personal, this little belt buckle, which rang up 81, probably from the shape of it, the fact that it's solid copper, and it looks like it was gilded a little bit in probably silver. But yeah, you can see the wear marks from where the little lock pin swung back and forth and sat in its niche. And it's got that curve, you know, so it just feels old, and came from right next to this basically, and it's had time to turn green. The square nails were right there too, so really good sign. This I'm going to go ahead and lump in with them because it came out on accident out of the same hole as the piece of crock. And our little button, which I'm assuming is a button. So it's got that age, you know, old copper green. Looks like the other half of it broke off. Some sort of rivet. That, which I recognize that also. It's the end of something and then a rod or something went through there. And this, which I like a lot, Vulcan, 1882, patent April 1st. April Fool's Day. Maybe it's April 4th, 1882. See the little reading along the edge. Made me think it was some crazy coin at first. See how it's punched through? So I'm pretty sure this is a button. I think this is a older style button. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Really happy to have that. You can see those all kind of fit in together. And the overall site was really, awesome on a rainy day to explore and just to see the different layers of history coming out. And, we went way back. I think we have gone way back. So, thanks for joining me on that one. We're going to go back. So be sure to stay tuned. Remember, you can like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining the Quest for Details.